Hello everyone again, this is Marvelous Mark here from the Off the Rope Show with your real Final Four and National Championship preview. If you saw my other previous videos, you'll remember I had Kentucky, Missouri, Florida State, and North Carolina in the in my Final Four. Well, 1 out of 4 isn't bad since I still got Kentucky in there, but with that being said, let's dive into the real Final Four and National Championship preview predictions. Okay, before I start on my Kentucky versus Louisville preview, I just wanted to give you a little tidbit of information which happened on Monday. It's kind of funny, but it really isn't. It was there was an incident that happened in a dialysis clinic in Georgetown, Kentucky. There were two men aged 68 and 71. They were both arguing about who was going to win the game between Louisville and Kentucky. Well, one of them flipped the bird to the other one, and he got punched in the face for his trouble. I mean, as far as state rivalries go, you have, Louisville and Kentucky is obviously a huge rivalry in the state of Kentucky. Then otherwise you got like your Duke, North Carolina. That's huge. That's probably one of the biggest rivalries in all of sports, and probably one of the best, if not the best. Those two schools are 8 miles apart. Then also, especially in football, you also have the Alabama-Auburn rivalry. That rivalry is so heated that an Alabama fan poisoned the trees at Toomer's Corner. So, those are 3 major feuds right there, or well, maybe not so much feuds, but they're big rivalries. And with that being said, let's go into the real review for Louisville and Kentucky. Okay, well, on December 31st, Kentucky and Louisville played at Rupp Arena, in the game in which Kentucky won 69-62. And just talking about Kentucky in the tournament, they've basically only gone 6 deep in the tournament. Anthony Davis earlier today was named National Player of the Year. Not bad for a true freshman. Michael Kidd Gilchrist is already declared for the NBA draft. Assuming that Anthony Davis also declares for the draft, Kidd Gilchrist might be the second pick in the draft behind Anthony Davis if Davis does so declare, and why wouldn't he? And this year, not so much in the tournament, but in the season, 7 different players have led the team in scoring. And they also lead Division I in field goal percentage defense at 37.5%. And that's what I know about them. And then when you talk in Louisville, they won the Big East tournament title this year when they beat Cincinnati. And this run has a eerily similar situation to what Connecticut did last year when they rode Kemba Walker all the way to the NCAA tournament final. And they won the championship against Butler. They've got loads of confidence after winning the Big East tournament, and they knocked off Marquette and Michigan State. Those are 2 legitimate top 10 teams in the bracket. And they came back to defeat Florida in the regional final. And Peyton Siva has really been a creator on the offensive end. He's been setting people up and that sort of thing. But I think as far as the matchup goes, I think Kentucky's they will win this game again because Davis is gonna make this his own personal showcase for him to be the #1 pick in the NBA draft come June. And I think Kentucky's gonna go to Monday night and play for the national championship and John Calipari's first championship. Okay, now for the other matchup, Kansas against Ohio State. Well, Thomas Robinson was All-American this year. He was probably one of the other prime candidates to be National Player of the Year. And this year in the tournament, he has averaged way better than a double-double. And then you have Tyshawn Taylor, who, yeah, he's only got 15 assists to 13 turnovers so far in the tournament, but he did have 22 points against North Carolina in the regional final. And then you have Jeff Withey, who's really come into his own in this tournament, and even probably even in the Big 12 tournament itself. He's in the tournament so far. He's got 20 blocks. And if my division is correct, 20 divided by 4, he's averaging 5 blocks a game. That's pretty damn good. And they say defense doesn't win championships. Well, check out this stat. In the second half of the last 3 tournament games, they have allowed a total of 68 points and only 24% shooting. They've allowed 24 points, 24, and 20 points in the second halves of the last 3 games. Boy, that's pretty tough. And as much as I would love to bet against Kansas, you really can't, because Bill Self has probably done one of his best coaching jobs this year. I mean, this is a team that they weren't predicted to. I mean, for them, I was kind of like saying, oh, they weren't predicted to do much, but this is Kansas. They always have a way of pulling themselves up. It's like Baylor was actually, if memory serves, I believe Baylor was picked to win the Big 12 this year, and then Texas A&M was picked second. How'd that work out for them? But anyway, yeah, you just can't bet against Kansas, I don't think. And then you get into Ohio State, and you have Jared Sullinger, who's one of the premier postmen in the country. And then you have Aaron Kraft, who's their point guard. He was voted the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. Then you got William Buford, who's come up big at times this year. Then you got Deshaun Thomas, who's leading the team in scoring in the tournament with 21.8 points a game. And this is another matchup another rematch of a matchup that happened earlier in the season. On December 10th, they played at Allen Fieldhouse. Ohio State did lose that game, 78-67. However, Jared Sullinger did not play in that game because he had back spasms. And I think that's what's going to be the difference in this game. I believe that Ohio State is going to win this game, and they're going to go back to the national championship for the first time since 2007 with that team with Greg Oden and Mike Conley Jr. when they lost to Florida. But I think they're going to go get to Monday night, and they're going to play Kentucky for the right to win the national championship. All right, then you get into the national championship game, and I have Kentucky against Ohio State going at it. Last time Kentucky won the national championship, they won it in 1998 when Tubby Smith was the coach, and the two of the big stars on that team were Nazir Muhammad and Jamal McGlure. Scott Padgett also played on that team. Then for Ohio State, you'd have to go all the way back to 1960, the last time they won. For the one and only time they won the national championship. You had great players. You had like Jerry Lucas was on that team. Fred Taylor was on that team. He also coached at Ohio State for a while. John Havlicek was on that team. He's a basketball Hall of Famer. And Bobby Knight was on that team. Yes, he was. But getting back into today, I think the big matchup in this game will be Anthony Davis against Jared Sullinger, and I think Anthony Davis will win that matchup. I think Sullinger will also get his points. And then another big matchup will be the battle of the point guards: Aaron Kraft against Marcus Teague, and it'll be interesting to see what Kraft does against Teague. See if he can shut him down in some way. And then also Michael Kidd Gilchrist. Well, does Ohio State have an answer for him? that remains to be seen. But anyway, I picked Kentucky at the beginning of this tournament, and no sense on changing it now. I believe that Kentucky will be cutting down the nets on Monday night, and therefore John Calipari will get his first national championship. This is Marvelous Mark signing off for now. If you'd like to leave comments down below, please do so. You can tell me whether you agree with me. You can tell me whether I'm full of shit. Tell me whether I'm a high case, whatever. And if you haven't subscribed up above already, please, I would appreciate it if you did so. And this is Marvelous Mark signing off for now. Goodbye.